Part 23. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 221. Chapter 221 I Miss You So Much. Xia Ying originally thought that after so many years, Chu Shenxia would at least be more mature and know how to care for her cousin, but she didn't expect that he would give her a blow as soon as they met. It seemed that she was overthinking it. This guy Chu Shenxia probably, it's easy to change the situation, but it's hard to change the nature. He will be her mortal enemy for the rest of his life. When Chu Shenxia was smiling triumphantly, his mother suddenly grabbed his ear. Chu Shenxia screamed in pain. Shouted, "Mom, what are you doing?" The aunt grabbed Chu Shenxia's ears and said angrily, "You kid, how can you talk? How can you call your cousin Xiaoying a slug? She is so old now and is not a child anymore. Besides, who is it that cried and begged me to bring you to see your cousin Xiaoying? I thought you had changed your ways, but I didn't expect you were still a white-eyed wolf." Xiaoying was stunned after hearing this. What? Did she hear it right? Chu Shenxia would actually cry and beg his mother to bring him over to celebrate her birthday. Xiaoying stared at Chu Shenxia with a suspicious face. Chu Shenxia felt uncomfortable with Xiaoying's probing eyes. With a handsome face, his face immediately turned red from his neck to his ears. Chu Shenxia struggled and defended, "I called her slug because she is cute." "What a loving name." Xiaoying's face turned dark. "If you like it, you'd better keep it and use it slowly." Chu Shenxia looked at Xiaoying with a smile again and said, "By the way, cousin slug, I miss you." Xiaoying's face darkened. Chu Shenxia missed her and probably wanted to hit her. "Big turtle dove, don't think I'm afraid of you. I won't be beaten to tears by you like I did when I was a kid." Chu Shenxia frowned slightly and whispered, "When did I say I was going to beat you? Is it still too late to clear my name now? Waiting online, it's very urgent." Xiaoying asked doubtfully, "Are you sure you don't want to hit me?" Chu Shengming heard this and said with a smile, 13 is no longer a child." "Cousin, you are worrying too much." Chu Shenxia quickly nodded aggrievedly, "Well, my brother understands me." Xiaoying curled her lips silently and said nothing. Did Chu Shenxia really change his gender like this? How come she doesn't believe it so much? Now that I see Chu Shenxia's face, I still feel frightened. By the way, Chu Shengming suddenly thought of something and said to Xiaoying, 13th, he applied for your Imperial University in China. So, he will come to your university to study soon. Xiaoying blinked her eyes fiercely and stared at Chu Shengming in disbelief. 12 cousin, are you sure? Xiaoying suddenly felt a little dazed. Why did Chu Shenxia suddenly want to go to university in China? Didn't he do well in college in country S in his last life? Why should I lie to you? Chu Shengming smiled lightly. It was precisely because Chu Shengming said it that Xiaoying was convinced of the authenticity of this matter. If that's the case, 12th cousin, are you also going to come to China? Chu Shengming nodded lightly, expressing his acquiescence. 13 is a wild person who is difficult to discipline. If I am not with him, I am afraid that he will get into trouble, so I just come to China with him. There happens to be a drug research institute here that I am very interested in, so I will stay here too. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 222. Chapter 222 Birthday Party. Xiaoying thought of another serious problem. He raised his head and asked Chu Shengming, "Then where do you live?" Chu Shengming said calmly, "Originally, I wanted to buy a house. But my aunt was so kind that I couldn't refuse. So, Shizhen and I will live in your house." As soon as Chu Shengming finished speaking, Xiaoying felt like she was struck by thunder, and her brain was stunned. Chu Shenxia, that demon is going to live in the same house with him. Xiaoying couldn't imagine what her future life would be like. Chu Shengming looked at Xia Ying, as if he caught a glimpse of some emotion in her complicated expression. So he smiled and reassured her, "Don't worry, 13 is no longer the ignorant little boy he used to be. He won't bully you." "Yes, cousin Sakura, I will never bully you," Chu Sensio added. "Cousin Sakura is so cute, how could he bully her?" Xia Ying smiled bitterly twice, "Haha, I hope, forgive her for the deep psychological shadow." Xia Ying hurriedly ran to Luo Xian to verify what Chu Shengming had just told him. Luo Xian said with a smile, "It turns out that 12 has already told you, and I plan to tell you later." Xia Ying looked up to the sky and sighed after hearing this. Oh my god, why did things get to this point? Xia Ying's birthday party was held as scheduled at the Bright Pearl Hotel the next day. Since it was the Xia family's daughter's birthday, there were no guests on that day. The entire dazzling Pearl Hotel was used by Xia Ying to celebrate her birthday. At the same time, there are all kinds of lights and colors outside, and the red carpet is covered. Since the Xia family is one of the 4 major families in the imperial capital, Xia Ying's birthday will definitely attract many celebrities to congratulate and attend. The decoration inside the venue is also extremely luxurious. All kinds of red wine, champagne, and delicacies from all over the world are available. As the protagonist of this party, Xia Ying will also perform piano music for everyone during the banquet. The people who can attend this party are all from rich or noble families. In addition to the 4 major families, they are also some well-known people in the society. Xia Chuanhai and Luo Xian reunited on this day, and they welcomed the guests harmoniously. Luo Xian used to have outstanding temperament and outstanding beauty, but her dress today is also particularly eye-catching. Xia Chuanhai looked at Luo Xian beside him, even though there were thousands of words in his heart. But when he opened his mouth to say something, it was hidden within his lips. Luo Xian actually knew that Xia Chuanhai had been paying attention to her, but she had been suppressing her inner restlessness and not letting herself see him, acting a little indifferent. When the Jun family appeared at the party, they immediately attracted the attention of everyone. The good relationship between the Jun family and the Xia family is well known to everyone in the entire imperial capital. So people from the Jun family will definitely come to Xia Ying's birthday. Jun Chennai was wearing a white suit today, and his warm and smooth chestnut hair was combed behind his head. His face was expressionless, but that didn't stop all the girls in the venue from focusing on him. When Xia Chuanhai and Luo Xian saw the Jun family coming, they immediately went to welcome them. The 2 parties were chatting and laughing, while Jun Chennai looked around anxiously, looking for the beautiful figure in his heart. Rong Ci was holding a glass of champagne and leaning on the side leisurely. He looked at Jun Chennai with a faint smile on his lips. He had been asking about Jun Chennai's gift to Xia Ying along the way, but Jun Chennai didn't reveal a word of it, which made Rong Ci a little curious. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 223. Chapter 223 Jiaomiren. Not long after, Mu Niankai appeared at the venue wearing a pink evening dress. Mu Niankai raised her swan-like neck. He walked slowly under the astonished gazes of a group of young masters. Mu Niankai really enjoys the feeling of being stared at by others, so when the eyes of those young men fell next to her, their eyes were full of admiration and amazement. Although Mu Niankai showed no emotion on the surface, she was already happy in her heart. Wow, look, is that beauty Jiao? It's really true, it's really Jiaomiren. The costume drama that Jiaomiren recently filmed was really good. People like me who never follow dramas can't help but chase it. Jiaomiren is really worthy of the 4 words of powerful country and city. Otherwise, how can we say she is a beauty? She is so beautiful. Agreed, agreed. Muniankai's face immediately darkened when she heard the people around her talking. The eyes that originally belonged to her were immediately attracted by the so-called beauty Jiao. Following the eyes of the crowd, Muniankai saw the central figure among the young masters. The girl was wearing a red slim-fitting evening dress. She was tall and slender, revealing two thin and straight long legs. The girl has shoulder-length red curly Han hair, a face as big as a palm, delicate facial features, and flaming red lips that complement her hair color, and she is full of charm in every gesture. This woman is the type of beauty that all men are fascinated by. The girl was holding a glass of champagne in her hand, chatting with the young men around her, covering her mouth and chuckling from time to time. As soon as she smiled, the faces of the young men immediately showed salivating looks. The beautiful woman they call is Jiao Na. The Jiao family is also one of the four major families in the imperial capital. Qiana, like Xia Ying, has been a child star since she was a child. However, unlike Xia Ying quit the entertainment industry at the age of 9. Like Qiana, she is still active in the entertainment industry and is the most popular child in the entertainment industry today. One of the flowers. When Jiao Na and Xia Ying filmed commercials together, they were equally famous. Xia Ying is known as the nation's daughter because of her cute and sweet appearance. In addition to filming commercials, Qiana also participated in some variety shows. On variety shows, Qiana's smart performance attracted a large number of fans to her. In addition, Jiao Na has been filming since childhood and is now a well-known actor in the entertainment industry. In addition, she often plays the role of the most beautiful woman in some costume TV dramas. She has played 3 of the 4 beauties in history, so she is called Jiao Beauty. This year, Jiao Na almost dominates the screen. She not only starred in TV series, but also participated in 2 movies, and her reputation is not bad. Many people even predicted that this year's Best Actress may fall into her hands. Jonah is now in the limelight and everyone knows it. She can be said to be the national goddess. In the newly launched entertainment industry beauty ranking list, Beauty Jiao was elected number 1 with a high vote. At the same time, Jiao Na was also selected as the most ideal girlfriend for boys in 2010. Muniankai was so angry that she pouted her lips and walked away angrily, drinking champagne lonely. Jonah was very satisfied with the feeling of being in control of the scene. As expected, she was the most eye-catching one no matter what. When Jiao Na thought of this, she not only raised her lips but revealed an imperceptible proud smile. Thanks to the little cutie, I am not special but the only one for the reward. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 224. Chapter 224. The Little White Rabbit Targeted by the Big Bad Wolf. Yezioksun was invited by Xia Ying. Originally, she did not plan to attend Xia Ying's birthday party. After all, everyone at the party was either rich or noble. She, a child from an ordinary family, always felt a little weird entering a place like that. But when she thought that she and Xia Ying were such good friends, and Xia Ying sincerely invited her. Because she was afraid that she wouldn't have an evening dress, Xia Ying specially gave her one, just because she was afraid that Yezioksun would feel uncomfortable there. However, Yezioksun felt that it was too expensive, so after thinking about it, he still didn't wear it. Yezioksun's family conditions are not very good, his mother is in poor health, and his father works alone outside, earning hard-earned money. That kind of high-end evening dress is generally worn once and then has no use. And since Xia Ying gave it to her, she would definitely not take it back. Yezioksun felt that it would be better for her to find a time to become a pawn, at least she could get some money to support her family. Yezioksun borrowed a Chanel skirt from her good friend. Although it was not as gorgeous and high-end as the evening dress, it was still decent, and wearing Chanel would not look too cheap. Yeseoksun wore makeup for the first time in 16 years today, and her friend also helped her put on makeup. Yeseoksun did not wear glasses today, but wore contact lenses. Her hair is a one-time hairstyle that her friend helped her do. Yeseoksun usually has short mushroom hair, but today her head and tail are a little curly, making her very cute and cute. Yeseoksun came to the Bright Pearl, showed the invitation letter, and walked inside cautiously. This is the first time Yeseoksun has come to such a high-end place. All kinds of celebrities who usually only see it on TV and magazines attended Xia Ying's birthday party today. Yeseoksun held his breath and felt slightly nervous. Yeseoksun scanned the entire venue, but did not see Xia Ying. People had not gathered yet, so Xia Ying, as the protagonist, was probably going to make her final appearance. "Miss, do you need champagne?" the attendant said to Yeseoksun enthusiastically. "No need." Yeseoksun waved his hand, "Juice is fine." After saying that, Yeseoksun took a glass of orange juice and said thank you. Yeseoksun was hiding alone in a corner like a timid little white rabbit, looking at everyone. Since she was not very familiar with this lively atmosphere, Yeseoksun did not dare to act rashly. She just waited obediently for Xia Ying to come out, and then wished Xia Ying a happy birthday. It's just that the little white rabbit didn't expect that even if she didn't care about world affairs at the moment, she would still be targeted by a few big bad wolves in the corner. There were several rich young men in the corner, drinking champagne and happily talking about the beauties at the venue. One of the teenagers was boasting about the number of his ex-girlfriends. Among them, he even mentioned his type of girlfriend, which is never repeated. When the young master's eyes fell on Yeseoksun, his eyes suddenly lit up. The natural purity and simplicity exuding from Yeseoksun attracted his attention. Yeseoksun opened his big eyes and looked at the crowd. It was that pair of eyes that had not been contaminated by superficiality and worldliness that made the young man's heart pound. The young man left behind a few friends who were still chatting and laughing. He strode towards Yeseoksun. His companions noticed something strange about him and stared at his back in confusion. "Thanks to the little cutie WeChat pay for the reward. It's a new week, please vote for me." End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 225. Chapter 225 Qin Yet. What is Mr. Qin planning to do? A young master raised a glass of champagne and said to his companions in confusion. One of them replied, "Looking at Mr. Qin's behavior, he seems to be planning to pick up girls." After speaking, everyone followed Qin Ye's gaze and looked at Yeseoksun beside him. Yeseoksun also noticed the young man who was staring at her motionlessly, with a smile at the corner of his mouth. The young man has grandma gray hair, a fair face, narrow and deep eyes, and a high and smooth nose bridge. When he smiles, there is a shallow pear dimple at the left corner of his mouth. Yeseoksun stared at him for a while, and he immediately recognized who this person was. His name is Qin Ye, and he is a young talent who has just debuted. He is very popular because of his handsome face and being on one of the most popular variety shows currently. Even people like Yeseoksun who don't pay attention to entertainment news have seen this person on the covers of magazines that classmates read during class. With Qin Ye, the idol of his classmates, looking at him like this, Yeseoksun was at a loss for a moment. She avoided looking at him, but not long after, Qin Ye came to her. Qin Ye took a glass of champagne and handed it to Yeseoksun, with a friendly and harmless smile on his face. Yeseoksun waved his hands nervously, refused, and said, "I'm sorry, I don't drink." Hearing this, Qin Ye smiled lightly and said, "Okay, then juice is okay, right?" Yeseoksun couldn't refuse, so he had to accept it silently. Qin Ye stood next to Yeseoksun and stared at Yeseoksun's profile. From the side, Yeseoksun's eyelashes were very long. Because she was a little nervous, her long eyelashes trembled slightly. Yeseoksun's nose also had fine beads of sweat, and his lips were pressed tightly because he was at a loss. Chinya is a veteran in love. He could tell at a glance that a girl like Yeseoksun must have little or no experience in love. Chinya has dated many girlfriends, but he has never been someone else's first love. This time, he suddenly had a good idea. Most of Chinya's girlfriends are hot and sexy. This is the first time he has seen a young lady like Yeseoksun who looks so pure and simple at first glance. Which family are you the daughter of? Chinya's tone was soothing, trying not to disturb Yeseoksun. It can be seen that Yeseoksun is a little timid. She is probably the kind of wealthy daughter who is well protected, so she is somewhat wary of outsiders. It's just that Chinya has a lot of patience. Yeseoksun glanced at him quietly. Chinya's smile was warm and comfortable, and the crooked corners of his eyes made Yeseoksun's heart skip a few beats. Yeseoksun bit his lip, not knowing how to answer. When Chinya saw this, he thought Yeseoksun was wary of him, so he didn't ask any more questions. However, Yeseoksun's behavior would only make Chinya more and more interested in him. Why is Chinya's eyes getting lower and lower? I think that girl is quite ordinary. A young master from a rich family said. It's okay. I think that girl is quite pure and lovely. Although she is very different from the girlfriends that Mr. Chin has dated before, maybe she eats too much meat and wants to change to vegetarian food. From what you say, Chinya and Xiaomiran have broken up, right? Aren't Chinya and Xiaomiran just hype? Is it true? You'll understand whether it's true or not by looking at Beauty Chiao's performance now, a young man said, looking at Chiao Na and smiling as if she were watching a show. Thanks to the little cuties 15836 and Salangaya for their rewards. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 226. Chapter 226. Where did the wild girl come from? Jonah glanced around the venue, and her eyes fell on Chinya, who had a handsome and eye-catching face. When she saw Chinya smiling and chatting with the girl, suddenly, the smile on Chiao Na's face stiffened. Chiao Na's eyes focused on Yeseoksun, thinking silently in her heart. Why is this Chinya's taste getting worse and worse? How come he can like everyone? Obviously he is still her rumored boyfriend. Why is he so fat and thin? That girl is so average, it really brings her down. I would like to see this girl. How different is she? How could Chinya not say hello to her, Chiao Na, but go straight to flirt with her? Jonah half closed her eyes and stared at Yeseoksun. Then with a generous and decent smile, she said to the rich young men surrounding her, I'm sorry, everyone, I found a friend and wanted to go over and say hello. I'll excuse you now. After speaking, Chiao Na walked towards Yeseoksun and Chinya. Before Chiao Na could reach Chinya and Yeseoksun, Chinya suddenly left Yeseoksun and walked towards the rich young masters. Chiao Na narrowed her eyes and paused. Then a disdainful smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, and he walked towards Yeseoksun. Yeseoksun didn't know that Chiao Na was approaching at this moment. She just held a glass of juice that Chinya had just given her with both hands. Thinking of what Chinya had just said to her, Yeseoksun's face suddenly turned red, and he lowered his head, revealing the shyness of a young girl. Chiao Na approached Yeseoksun and noticed that Yeseoksun's face was red with honey, and she immediately felt unhappy. Chiao Na raised her head and looked at Yeseoksun up and down with a proud look. Chiao Na looked around, and then raised her fingers at several rich ladies, who immediately moved closer to Chiao Na. It was only then that Yeseoksun realized that he was surrounded by several wealthy ladies. Yeseoksun was a little at a loss and looked at everyone in shock. Chiao Na rolled her eyes, showed a look of disdain, and said to Yeziaksun, "Where did this wild girl come from? Did I say you went to the wrong venue? This is the birthday party of the daughter of the Xia family, Xia Ying, isn't it? All cats and dogs can come in." When Yeziaksun heard what Jiao Na said, his face turned even redder. He lowered his head and whispered, "I am Xia Ying's friend." As soon as Yeziaksun finished saying this, Jiao Na started laughing. When Jiao Na smiled, several wealthy ladies around her also laughed. The sharp laughter was like a sharp sword, piercing Yeziaksun's sensitive and fragile heart one by one. "Oh, look, the Chanel she is wearing is last year's style, and it's embarrassing to wear it, it's really ridiculous. It's just that she looks so poor and claims to be Xia Ying's friend. She really overestimates her abilities and I don't know how she got there. I said your invitation letter should be taken out and looked at." Yeziaksun clenched his fists tightly, bit his lips, and remained silent. Upon seeing this, Jiao Na ridiculed, "If I were you, I would quickly find a hole in the ground to hide." "Forget it, Sister Qiana, don't talk to a country girl like her, it's really devaluing your own worth." Jiao Na snorted coldly, and then said to Yeziaksun in a low voice, "I tell you, stinky girl. Don't rely on your soft and weak appearance to try to seduce young Master Qin. Young Master Qin is someone like you. Do you want to? Tell you, stay away from him." End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 227. Chapter 227. Farmers are your ancestors. The scene of Jiao Na and a group of daughters bullying Yeziaksun was also seen by Qin and several young masters. However, Qin just drank champagne slowly and turned a blind eye, not even glancing over there. One of the young masters asked, "Young Master Qin, I thought you were attracted to that girl, but I didn't see you doing anything." "Yes, Mr. Qin, it's a good time for heroes to save beauties." However, Qin just made a disdainful sound from his nose and said, "I thought that was some kind of eldest lady from a wealthy family, but after a few words I found out that it was just a girl with a feather duster stuck in it. Just a pheasant, what a waste of my time. Are you kidding? How could a pheasant get in? This is the Xia family's daughter's birthday party. Who knows, anyway, I can be 100% sure that the girl is not a wealthy lady. At first, I was still thinking, how could there be such a pure and simple young lady like her in this world? It turns out that she is just a pure and simple farmer." Qin took a sip of champagne and continued, "Today is really disappointing." "Hey, what are you talking about, you brat? Pay attention to what you say. What's wrong with the farmers? Farmers are your ancestors. Aren't your ancestors farmers too? Just a rich second-generation rice bug like you. What right do you have to look down on farmers?" When Qin heard someone contradicting him from behind, he gritted his teeth in anger and turned to look at the person. But when Qin's eyes fell on the man's face, he was immediately surprised. Chu Shenxiu. Shenxiu of S country. The reason why Qin knew Chu Shenxiu's name was because it was on a list of the 100 most beautiful faces in the world by the media some time ago. The name Chu Shenxiu was ranked second on the list, and something even more surprising was yet to come. Through Chu Shenxiu, Qin saw Chu Shengming again, the third person on the list, Chu Shenxiu's twins. Elder brother. As for Qin, even though he is currently in the limelight, he is only ranked outside the 20 spots. Qin opened his mouth and was about to say something. Chu Shenxiu then continued, "Come here, get this person out. A person of his caliber will only lower the IQ of everyone in the room." Qin resisted, "What qualifications do you have to drive me out?" Chu Shenxiu half squinted his eyes, glared at Qin and said, "No reason, but I despise scum. Everyone is responsible." Just as Qin was about to say something more, a bodyguard already held his arms. Seeing that the situation was not good, Qianye was about to leave angrily. Isn't it just a birthday party, what's so big about it? I still don't want to watch this. Come on. Just as Qianye was about to turn around, he suddenly heard a shout from the crowd, Xiaoying is out. Qianye heard about the reputation and went there. The moment Xiaoying appeared, the air in the entire venue seemed to freeze. Everyone held their breath and looked at the girl who seemed to be a fairy with holy light. Xiaoying wore a snow-white tube-top evening dress, which made her skin as white as fresh snow. Revealing a pair of charming collarbones, the skirt reaches to the knees, revealing two slender legs. The waist-cut skirt makes your waist appear slim and slim. Xiaoying wears exquisite makeup and has natural long, soft brown curly hair draped behind her shoulders. There is also a crown studded with diamonds on her head. If fairy tales really existed, this would be what the princess would look like. Xiaoying's smile was breathtakingly beautiful. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 228. Chapter 228 So beautiful that there is no trace of intrusion. Since Xiaoying quit the entertainment industry and stopped filming commercials, she has not appeared in the public eye for a long time. Even the scandal with Jun Chennai some time ago was just a blurry picture captured by the media. But now, when Xiaoying actually appeared in front of these celebrities, they suddenly realized that Xiaoying was indeed one of the representatives who grew up beautiful from childhood. Her beauty is not the kind of showy and coquettish beauty, nor is it the kind of beauty of Xiaojiabiu. It's the kind of beauty that you can notice at a glance when she stands in the crowd, the most dazzling kind of beauty. That kind of beauty is so comfortable and beautiful. It's so beautiful that one doesn't have the slightest desire to invade. The moment Qinye's eyes fell on Xiaoying, he suddenly felt his heart skip a beat. He suddenly wanted to take back what he just said. The moment he saw Xiaoying, he really wanted to stay at this birthday party. Xiaoying politely smiled at the crowd. With this smile, everyone felt that spring had arrived. A heart that was exhausted by the turmoil of the outside world suddenly regained its calm at this moment. When Xiaoying first came in, she noticed that Jiao Na and a group of people were surrounding Ye Xiaoxun, with a look of disdain on her face. Ye Xiaoxun lowered her head helplessly and desolately, and beside her, there were a group of violent young ladies surrounding her. Xiaoying's smile froze, and she understood what happened without even thinking. Xiaoying held up her skirt and walked toward Ye Xiaoxun. When Jiao Na saw Xiaoying, she immediately rolled her eyes. Jiao Na has been compared with Xiaoying by the media since she was a child. Therefore, Jiao Na didn't like Xiaoying every time she saw her. She always thought that she was better than Xiaoying. Someone like that who has quit the entertainment industry a long time ago is not worthy of being compared with her. Jiao Na nowadays, Xiaoying in the entertainment industry has only had some troubles due to her scandal with Jun Chennai some time ago, but she, Jiao Na, is different. She is the one who speaks for her works. She is likely to be the best actress this year. As long as she becomes a movie queen, Xiaoying, and she will not be on the same level at all. No matter whether she enters the entertainment industry or not, Xiaoying will be stepped on by her. Xiaoxun. Xiaoying called Ye Xiaoxun's name in a low voice, and then looked at the skirt Ye Xiaoxun was wearing. The skirt is a classic model released by Chanel last year, but for these wealthy ladies, the clothes from last season are already outdated, let alone last year. These ladies have always been at the forefront of fashion. Ye Xiaoxun is Xiaoying's only friend. She really wants her to come to her birthday party, but Ye Xiaoxun's family background is very ordinary, and Xiaoying is afraid that Ye Xiaoxun will be looked down upon by others. It is precisely because of this that Xiaoying gave Ye Xiaoxun a valuable and trendy dress. But Xiaoying didn't expect that Ye Xiaoxun didn't wear the clothes she gave her. Ye Xiaoxun raised his head, forced a bitter smile, looked at Xiaoying and said, "Xiaoying, Happy birthday, you are so beautiful today. This is a gift for you. I have something else to do, so I will leave first. Yeseoksun's hands were clenched into fists and clenched tightly. Yeseoksun endured the humiliation of being laughed at just now, and looked at Xia Ying with wide open eyes as clear as a stream. Xia Ying knew Yeseoksun. She must have been wronged. She didn't say it because she just didn't want to cause trouble to her. Today there will be more updates if the recommendation votes exceed 1,600, just use your fingers to vote. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 229. Chapter 229. You are not worthy of appearing on the same occasion as me at all. No, Xiaoxun, you said you would leave it to me today, so you can't leave. Xia Ying looked firm, took Ye Xiaoxun's arm and said to her. Xia Ying only has one friend, Ye Xiaoxun, so she values Ye Xiaoxun more than many things. As long as someone bullies her friend, they will have trouble with her. Xia Ying's soft eyes were instantly cast in a gloomy color. Xia Ying turned around and stared at Jiao Na. Jonah was startled by Xia Ying's sudden hostile eyes. He said angrily, "Why are you staring at me?" Xia Ying curled her lips and sneered, "Why am I glaring at you? Are you bullying my friends while I'm away?" Joanna sneered, "Hey, is this really your friend? You said I bullied her? Which eye did you see? Just casually frame others without evidence. Is this the style of the daughter of the Xia family?" Xia Ying heard this and snorted coldly. Miss Qingjing glanced around and said, "I thought you were the kind of people who dared to take risks, but I didn't expect that you were just daring to bully people behind their backs. It's really a joke to tell you that, the noble Qingjin, one by one, are all of this quality." "What nonsense are you talking about?" Jiao Na was angry, staring at Xia Ying with dark eyes. "I'm just telling the truth, she is just a wild girl, and she doesn't deserve to be in the same place as me. It will only lower my grade. Jonah, if you continue to be so unreasonable, believe it or not, I will kick you out." Xia Ying blushed with anger. Upon seeing this, Ye Xiaoxun quickly grabbed Xia Ying's arm to prevent her from doing something out of control. "Sakura, forget it," Ye Xiaoxun said in a low voice. She has already heard the whispers from people around her. If Xia Ying conflicts with Jiao Na at the birthday party, she will definitely be on the hot search tomorrow. Jiao Na is very popular and has many crazy fans. A conflict with her would be very detrimental to Xia Ying. Jonah snorted disdainfully from her nose, turned around and left in a swaggering manner. Xia Ying clenched her fists, resisting the urge in her heart to punch that Jiao Na. She took a deep breath, patted Ye Xiaoxun on the shoulder, and comforted her. "Xiaoxun, don't be like that kind of person. You believe me, you will never be worse than her in the future. Moreover, that kind of person will not be rampant for long." Hearing this, Ye Xiaoxun raised his head, looked at Xia Ying with a smiling face, and said sweetly, "Xiaoxun, it's great to be friends with you." "Fool." Xia Ying smiled. She thought so too. Having Ye Xiaoxun as a good friend could make up for the gap in her previous life's friendship. "By the way, Xiaoxun, why didn't you wear the skirt I gave you?" Xia Ying was a little confused. Ye Xiaoxun pursed his lips silently and said with some embarrassment, "That is because." "Forget it." Xia Ying saw Ye Xiaoxun's embarrassed look and stopped asking. Anyway, Ye Xiaoxun must have her own reasons. Since the dress has been given to her, she is free to deal with it how to deal with it. "It doesn't matter if you don't want to tell me. I'll introduce you to my family." As Xia Ying said this, she took Ye Xiaoxun's hand without any explanation and walked towards her family. "Mom, Dad. When Xia Ying called Xia Chuanhai, she hesitated for half a second. When she heard Xia Ying's long-lost dad, Xia Chuanhai's heart suddenly felt relieved, just like the rain after a long drought. This is Yeziaksun, my good friend. Luo Xian looked at Yeziaksun with a gentle smile and said, "Welcome, Xiaoksun." Yeziaksun nodded vigorously with a sweet smile, "Well, thank you, Auntie." Chapters with recommended votes will be added around 10 o'clock MMM. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 230. Chapter 230 shouldn't be a good score, right? Recommendation votes will be added. Hey, slug, I just helped you chase away a few people, do you mind? Xia Ying was still introducing Yeziaksun to her relatives one by one, when suddenly a clear and magnetic male voice sounded from behind her. Xia Ying turned around with a dark face, and Chu Shenxiu looked at her with a half-smile. Although those people made him very unhappy, they were still invited to the birthday party. It would be bad if he accidentally drove away Xia Ying's friends. But, having said that, Xia Ying wouldn't have friends with that kind of moral character, right? Chu Shenxiu, if you call me a slug again, believe it or not, I'll beat you up. Xia Ying waved her fist, not joking at all. Chu Shenxiu raised the corners of his lips and chuckled, thinking in his heart, what can I do? Cousin Sakura is so cute even when she is angry. When Yeziaksun saw this, he couldn't help but laugh softly. Chu Shenxiu's eyes were attracted by Yeziaksun's laughter. Yeziaksun's playful little mushroom head, round face, tender face, and facial features were not exquisite but very small and cute, very cute. Chu Shenxiu couldn't help but look at her for a second longer. Xiao Yingying, is she your friend? Chu Shenxiu looked at Yeziaksun and asked with a smile on his lips. Xiao Ying's expression froze. Xiao Ying. Did she hear correctly? One moment he was not calling her a slug in a good mood, but the next second he was calling her a sweet little Sakura. My brother, you must be an expert. What did you call me? Xiao Yingying. Chu Shenxiu looked calm. Can you be more normal? Xia Ying held her forehead helplessly. Would you rather I call you a slug? Chu Shenxiu said with a faint smile. Cousin Xiao Yingying has really special hobbies. But it doesn't matter, she's cute and she's right no matter what. Appearance is justice. Forget it, it's up to you. Xia Ying waved her hand, not wanting to waste any more time on this issue. She is my friend, Yeziaksun. Xia Ying then turned to Yeziaksun and said, Xiaoksun, he is my 13th cousin, Chu Shenxiu. Yeziaksun opened his eyes wide in surprise. 10, 3, how many cousins are there? Hello. Hello, cousin Xiao Ying's friend, Xiaoksun. Xia Ying has 3 black lines on her head. Can you please not add such a long modifier? By the way, where is my 12th cousin? Xia Ying looked around and found no figure of Chu Shenming. Chu Shenxiu pointed to the bar and said, over there. Xia Ying and Yeziaksun walked towards Chu Shenming, followed closely by Chu Shenxiu. When Xia Ying walked up to Chu Shenming was sitting at the bar and tinkering with something. There was a large circle of beauties around, attracted by Chu Shenming's appearance, and finally fell for Chu Shenming's smile. Chu Shenming's smile was so gentle and elegant that it really made people feel like their hearts melted and turned into a puddle of water. There were many wine glasses and bottles in front of Chu Shenming. He seemed to be mixing wine seriously. Xia Ying leaned to the side and stared curiously at the movements in Chu Shenming's hands. Tisk, even those hands are top-notch. The joints are clear, slender, and white, and they are even prettier than a girl's hand. Big turtle dove, is 12 cousin so good at picking up girls? Xia Ying looked up at Chu Shenxiu. A group of wealthy ladies and daughters around him completely ignored their appearance, held their faces in their hands, and kept making infatuated remarks to Chu Shenming, saying that he was so handsome and so handsome. Chu Shenxiu pinched his chin, with a complicated look on his face, and said with profound meaning, "You will understand when you read on." Xiao, Chu Shenxiu is not an expert, he is a hidden girl control. This chapter is a chapter that has been updated after the recommendation votes reached the standard. Recently, the comment area has been unfriendly to me and my posts are always deleted, which makes me unhappy in the comment area. Tat. End of this chapter.